Hei. Huomenta.
Sind die richtigen aus Holz?
Okay, now we are in the building that we call Kota. Sami people used to live like this in the history, but if we compare this construction to historical ones, this is huge. In the past Kota it was much smaller, then it was easier to keep it warm also. They didn't use any chairs, no tables, only reindeer hides around the fireplace. But it was very common that one family might have several buildings, one for cooking, one for making handicrafts, and one for spending the nights. Kota, it's a permanent construction, always made out of wood, but we got also laavu, and our laavu is similar like indigenous people of North America, they got TP. Our laavu, it looks almost the same. So it's a portable one, and mainly it was used by the Sami who got the nomadic way of life. And at the moment you got one of the most traditional Sami handicrafts in front of you, wooden cup that we call kuksa. And kuksa, it's made out of birch wood, but it is not made of regular trunk. It is made of birch pearl. So this is like scarf on the tree. It starts to grow after the tree gets injured by human, animal, or in this case it has been lightning. In our municipality, yearly growing season it's very short. So I don't sit under the tree waiting that the pearl reaches the size that we can make one cup out of it. Otherwise I have to sit under the tree over 30 years. But finally when it reaches the size that we can make a cup, first step is that we make a raw form for it. I put this one to go around, there we go. And then this piece, it is boiled in salty water. It makes it more dense, more solid. And after that, it have to be dried at least 3 months. and then we can make 1 cup out of it. So to make 1 single cup, it takes quite a long time, but 1 cup, it might be a lifetime friend. This one, it's not very old. This cup, it was made 2 years ago. This one is a little bit older. This is made by my father 62 years ago. But we still use the same shape, and if you compare these 2 cups to those that you have in front of you, these cups looks a bit different. In those, there is a finger hole, and these cups are with a flat handle. And this is the most traditional and also the most practical form of kuksa cup. When you're outdoors, it's cold, you want to drink something, but you are wearing gloves. So it fits on your hand, even that you are wearing gloves. Always when I go to the forest, I carry at least 4 items with me. There is kind of survival kit that I keep in my backpack. Item number 1, it's a kuksa, because all the water that you find in our municipality is drinkable. Every river, every lake that you see, you can drink the water. So we don't need to carry a bottle, we carry a cup. And if we carry a bottle, it includes something else than water. Item number 2, small bag of salt. Actually, salt, it's the only spice that you really need in the woods if you cook something and during the summer season to preserve the food also. 3rd item, something to light a fire. The more colder it gets, the more important it is to light a fire. But I don't use the method from Stone Age, so I don't rub a stick or I don't hit 2 stones together. I use matches. but for emergency use, I carry a fire stick. But using a fire stick, it needs a little bit of practice. First of all, it needs very good tinder. Example, the feather of birch bark. That's one good. And then you need also metal with sharp edge. But it doesn't have to be a knife. Any metal with sharp edge works. And this is very practical because it works even if it's wet. And I think then you already guessed the 4th item, the knife. Yeah. And we carry different sizes of knives for different purposes, but materials are same in all the knives. Sheath, it is made out of moose leather. The blades are carbon steel, and for the handle we use birch wood and reindeer antler. So those are the most common materials for all the local knives. I put this one to go around, but it's very sharp. Please be careful. There you go. Sami, we are the indigenous people of Europe, and we are living in 4 different countries. Are there anyone who can name me the 4 countries where Sami people live? Sweden, Russia, Norway, and of course Finland. So Norway, Sweden, Finland, and northwest of Russia. That's the area where Sami people live. And here in Finland we are altogether 10,000 Sami, so we are quite small minority. And we are 3 different tribes. Inari Sami, Northern Sami, and Skolt Sami. And each of these 3 groups got different language, so we are not talking about different dialects, it's completely different languages. And also different costumes, and in the history, different way of life. We are 2 tribes, Hanne, my wife, and also my father, they are Inari Sami, and my mother, she's a Northern Sami. So me, myself, I'm a mixture. I belong to 2 different tribes. Shall we make a small language lesson? I would like to teach you word thank you in 3 different Sami languages. But first of all, what is thank you in Finnish?
Kiitos.
Kiitos. Perfect. 10 points to Gryffindor.
Thank you.
I was about to ask you, how
Yeah.
come your mom and your dad communicate to each other?
I'm coming to that. I will tell soon. thank you in Inari Sami, dakka.
Dakka.
Once again, dakka.
Dakka.
Northern Sami, kiihtu.
Kiihtu.
Scout Sami, spasseeb.
Yeah, like Russian.
Yeah, you find similarities to other languages on the Barents region. Kiihtu, it sounds like Finnish, kiitos. Dakka, it sounds like Swedish or Norwegian language, tak. And spasseeb, it sounds like Russian language, spasiba. And now, back to my parents. My parents, they met 60 years ago, and during the first days, they tried to speak their own language. My father was speaking Inari Sami, my mother was speaking Northern Sami, but they couldn't understand each other. Example, one day, my father was asking that could my mother take a boat around the island, and my mother, she was wondering that why she needs to run with a plate over the mountain. Words were similar, meaning was completely different. Only option was to speak Finnish together. So Finnish, it became a common language in my family. But there was also impact to me. Both of us, me and Hanne, we belong to the generation that never learned Sami language. It was very common in 70s and 80s. We are quite big generation and most of us learn only Finnish. But luckily we are the only generation that lost the language, because our kids, they got the right to get all the education in Sami language. From daycare up to high school. Our children, they speak excellent Inari Sami and now they try to teach us. But the results are not very good. And our kids, they go to school to Inari, not far away from here. It's only 15 minutes. But Inari municipality is huge. The size of our municipality is almost the same as Belgium. So some of the children, they need to travel 100 kilometers one way when they go to school, 200 kilometers per day. It means a lot of work for local taxi drivers, because school transfers are organized by taxi. Every morning they drive from home to pick up the kids and returns them back to home afternoon. And when our children, when they go to school, their primary language is Inari Sami. Secondary language is Finnish. English they start to learn at the first grade when they are 7, and Swedish they start to learn when they are 10 years old. So they learn at least four languages. And of course we are proud that our children, they speak the language. They are always trying to find new occasion to wear the costumes to. But now when you are in Inari, and example, if you go to the grocery store, it's very rare that you see people dressed up like this. If you see someone wearing Sami costume, they are going to weddings, birthday parties, festivals or something like that. So it's mainly for special occasions. But when you look at the costumes of these, you can recognize to which tribe the person belongs to. But do not pay attention for the main fabric, main clothes. You need to look at the decoration. As you can see that Hanne, she got red, yellow and green stripes and the same colors on my shoulders. These are the colors of Inari Sami, red, yellow and green. The green color, it symbolizes pine forest. So if you don't see the green color, if you see only red and yellow, then you have met a Northern Sami. So small details that you have to. Very important part in the ladies' costume is risku, the round shaped rose that they were here in the middle. And it's a sun symbol. Sun, the most important element in our culture. No wonder why our polar night is quite long. Example, here at our home we saw the last sunrise 25th of November. And next sunrise we saw 27th of January. So our polar night, it lasts for a couple of months. That's the reason why the circle form is so common. And also the same shape, you find it in our flag. And this is the flag for all the Sami living in 4 different countries. And our flag got also a name. We call it the Children of Moon and Sun. Colors represent nature elements. Blue side of the circle is moon, and the red side of the circle is sun. You are staying in Wilderness Hotel Juutua, right? Do you know the location of our Sami parliament?
Next to the hotel. Right?
Yeah, almost next to your hotel there's a big wooden building that we call Sajos. That's the Sami parliament of Finland. It's not very old building. It was built 2011. It was a dream of an architect, but a nightmare for those who built it. Mission of our Sami parliament is to protect our small cultures and languages. But it's not an easy task. Example, Inari Sami, we are a very small minority. We are only 1,000 person in the whole planet. And of 1,000 Inari Sami, only 300 speaks the language. So there is the threat that we might lose the language, we might lose the whole culture. We need to do our best to preserve it. But maybe we found a solution. We need to have more children.
Winter time is long enough.
Yeah. We always say, because people ask what you do here during the year. We always say that during the summertime we go for fishing and we make love, and during the winter time less fishing. But don't worry, we are done. 4 kids and 1 grandchild, and each of them speaks Inari Sami. So 4 of 300. I think it's already good percentage. She made the bigger job, but I'm proud anyway. I have been talking a lot. You got questions? Culture, nature, family, anything if you got in your mind.
Why is it one country, the Lapland?
Yeah, so it is already in the history, Sami people, in our mind there were no borders. So we are one people and one land. But of course through the history there has become Norway, Sweden, then Finland. In the history we have been part of Sweden and we have been also part of Russia. And then Finland got independence 1917, so Finland is quite young country. And still nowadays many people they ask that do we dream about our own land or bigger autonomy? But the situation of Sami people nowadays it is extremely good compared to many other indigenous peoples all over the world. We can have our services in our own language, we can have education in our own language, and we have very strong land rights. Always if they are planning something big concerning our homeland, like railroads, mines, anything like that, so we have always our own word to say to those things. And most of the Sami people are very satisfied with the life what we are having now. We are carrying a Finnish passport, so we are Finnish citizen, but our ethnic background is Sami. And I have served in Finnish army for 1 year. It's compulsory for us. I'm a lieutenant in Finnish army. And then the Norwegian Sami are carrying Norwegian passport. And I think that the way of life that the situation of life what we got now here, it's so good that there's no reason to have an own land. But in our own mind there are no borders. So, and like when we go to the Sweden and when we go to the Norway, we don't need to even stop at the border. So we don't need to show passports. So we just go there and we come back.
Is there a big party or gathering with all the Sami?
Yeah, so it's very common that the relatives are living in several countries. Some of my relatives are living in Sweden, some of them are living in Norway, and it's very rare that we are able to meet each other. And that's the reason why Sami, we love different kind of festivals. In January we had movie festival of indigenous peoples in Inari. Mid-August we have music festival of indigenous peoples. But I think in my point of view the best and the greatest festival that we have here is King Race. King Race, it is organized last weekend of March in Inari, and there we see what is the fastest reindeer in Lapland. They make 2 tracks on the lake, 1 kilometer track and 2 kilometer track. 5 reindeer and 5 drivers at the same time on the track. 1 reindeer is pulling you, you get 2 ropes and on skis. And maximum speed 60 kilometers per hour. The King Race, it is end of the cup season, so that's the final of the whole season. Gathers a lot of people, good food, handicraft market. It's a kind of end of winter season festival at the same time. So next time when you are traveling to Inari, consider coming to here last weekend of March. Still possibility to see the northern lights, a lot of white snow and sun is shining, a perfect time.
Did you compete in the race?
My parents did, and also my big sister.